Liam Nelson floated in the quiet room filled with blinking lights and screens. He had been working on the research ship Horizon for 3 years now. As the person in charge of listening to space signals, most days were the same. He would check for messages from Earth, make sure the ship could talk to other human ships, and sometimes listen to the empty sounds of space. But today was different. "That's strange," Liam said, adjusting his headset. He heard something he had never heard before. It wasn't the usual empty noise of space or the clear voice of another human. It was something else. Liam's fingers moved quickly across his control panel. He needed to record this sound and make it stronger so others could hear it too. "Captain Harper, you might want to hear this," Liam called over the ship's communication system. Captain William Harper arrived minutes later, followed by Dr. Olivia Green, who studied alien languages. They listened as Liam played the strange sound. "It repeats every few hours," Liam explained. "It's coming from the star system about 3 light years from here." Dr. Green's eyes grew wide as she listened. "This isn't random space noise," she said quietly. "There's a pattern. See how it uses simple math. 1 beep, then 2, then 3, then 5. Those are prime numbers. So it's artificial. Someone made this signal?" Captain Harper asked. "Yes," Dr. Green nodded. "But there's something else." She pointed to another pattern in the sound waves on Liam's screen. "These other sounds mixed in with the math. They remind me of crying." The 3 crew members looked at each other. No one wanted to say what they were all thinking. For the next 2 days, Dr. Green barely left her workstation. She used the ship's computers to analyze the signal and try to understand more about it. The whole crew felt tense as they waited for answers. On the 3rd day, Dr. Green called everyone to the main meeting room. Her face looked tired but excited. "I've broken down the signal," she began. "It's definitely a message, and I believe it's from a child." Gasps and whispers filled the room. The message uses simple math as a universal language, but between these patterns are emotional sounds and simple images I've been able to decode. The sender calls itself Accelera. It belongs to a species we've never met before. And Dr. Green paused, her voice becoming softer. "It's alone on a dying planet." Dr. Green showed them the pictures she had put together from the signal. They showed a planet with terrible storms and breaking land. They showed a small alien hiding in some kind of safe room. And most surprisingly, they showed images of other alien ships receiving the same distress call and then leaving without helping. "From what I can tell," Dr. Green continued, "Xelra's people left their planet when it started to die. Somehow, this child was left behind. The message says other space travelers heard their call for help but chose to do nothing." Captain Harper stood up, his face serious. "How sure are you about this, Dr. Green?" "Very sure, Captain. I've checked my work many times. This is a child begging for help. And we're the only ones who might save it." The room grew quiet as everyone thought about what this meant. Humans had never met aliens before. They had no idea what Accelera looked like or if helping would be dangerous. Captain Harper looked around at his crew. "I need to contact Earth right away. This goes beyond our normal mission." He turned to Liam. "Send a message to Space Command. Tell them we've received a distress call from an alien child and we're waiting for instructions." As Liam hurried back to his station, the rest of the crew stayed in the meeting room, talking in low voices about the scared child waiting alone on a faraway dying planet. 3 days passed before Earth's Space Command answered the Horizon's message. During this time, the crew continued to receive signals from Accelera. Each new message made the situation seem more urgent. The alien child's shelter was losing power. Food and water were running low. The planet's air was becoming more poisonous each day. Captain Harper called everyone to the big screen in the main room. The face of General Alan Wright, head of Earth's Space Command, filled the screen. "Captain Harper, we've studied the signal information you sent us," General Wright said. His face looked serious. We've called leaders from all countries to discuss this matter. This is the first time we've had clear proof of intelligent life beyond Earth. Captain Harper nodded. Yes, sir. And that life is in danger. That's why I'm calling, Captain. We need to decide what to do, and quickly. The next day, Captain Harper and Dr. Green joined a video meeting with 30 people from Earth. Some were space experts. Others were government leaders. All of them looked worried. This could be a trap, said a woman in a blue suit. We know nothing about these aliens or their technology. A man with gray hair nodded. We should study the signals more before we do anything. Maybe send a robot probe first. The child doesn't have time for that, Dr. Green argued. Based on the latest signals, I believe Accelera has less than 2 months of life support left. Even if we wanted to help, the Horizon isn't built for rescue missions, another expert pointed out. It's a research ship. The arguments went back and forth. Some people wanted to help. Others thought it was too dangerous. No one could agree. Then Commander Kate Holloway stood up. She was well respected in Space Command. She had been on 3 space missions and was known for speaking her mind. While we sit here and talk, she said in a clear voice, a child is alone and afraid on a dying planet. She paused and looked at each person in the meeting. I understand the risks. But if we ignore this call for help, what does that say about us as humans? What's the point of going to space if we won't help others we find there? The room grew quiet. Commander Holloway continued. We've all seen the images. Other alien species got this same distress call. They all chose to do nothing. They all left a child to die alone. She straightened her shoulders. I don't want humanity to be that kind of species. I say we help. Her words changed the mood in the room. One by one, people began to nod. General Wright finally spoke. We'll need to move fast. The Horizon will need special equipment and people with the right skills. For the next week, the Horizon stayed in orbit while Space Command sent up supplies and new crew members. The ship got new engines for faster travel. It got special suits for going onto planets with bad air. It got medical equipment that might help an alien child. New people joined the crew too. Dr. Peter Collins was an expert in how different life forms might work. Officer Frank Martinez had training in space rescue. Dr. Amanda Bell knew how to help children who had been through scary situations. Captain Harper met with the new and old crew members. This mission goes beyond anything humans have done before, he told them. It will be dangerous. We don't know what we'll find. But we're going to try to save a life. As the Horizon prepared to leave, Captain Harper received one last message from Earth. It was from Commander Holloway. You're making history, Captain, she wrote. You're showing the universe what kind of species we really are. Bring that child home. The journey to save Accelera would not be easy. The Horizon had to travel 3 light years away. Even with the new engines, it would take nearly a month to reach the dying planet. As they left Earth's solar system, Engineer Susan Cooper checked the new equipment. The engines are working at full power, Captain, she reported. We're going faster than any human ship has ever gone before. Captain Harper nodded. We'll need every bit of that speed. 5 days into their journey, the ship faced its first big test. Their path took them through a field of asteroids, huge rocks floating in space. Some were as small as a car. Others were as big as a city. Can we go around? Captain Harper asked. Liam, who was now in charge of their route, shook his head. Not if we want to get there in time. Going around would add 8 days to our trip. Captain Harper looked at his crew. Then we go through. Everyone, prepare for rough flying. For 2 tense days, the Horizon moved carefully between the floating rocks. Everyone on board held their breath when a large asteroid came too close. Engineer Cooper worked hard to keep the shield strong. Officer Martinez helped spot dangerous rocks ahead. Finally, they made it through without any damage. They had only a few days of calm before the next danger. The ship's sensors detected a neutron star in their path. Neutron stars were the remains of dead stars, but they still had powerful gravity that could pull in anything that came too close. "We need to keep our distance," Dr. Collins warned. "The gravity from that star could tear our ship apart." They changed their course to go around the star, but even from far away, they could feel its pull. The ship groaned and shook. Warning lights flashed on the control panels. "The hull is holding," Engineer Cooper said, but her voice was tense. "Just barely." Once they were safely past the neutron star, Captain Harper called a meeting. "Each challenge is slowing us down," he said, "and we keep getting more messages from Accelera. Dr. Green, can you tell us the latest?" Dr. Green's face looked sad. "Accelera's situation is getting worse. The shelter has lost another power source. The air filters are starting to fail." And she paused. "Accelera is very afraid." "We're still 2 weeks away," Officer Martinez said. "Will we make it in time?" No one had a sure answer. During the rest of the journey, Dr. Green spent hours talking with Accelera through their limited communication system. She learned more about the alien species, the Vexteri. They had been peaceful explorers who had met many other space-traveling species. Accelera told me that when their planet started to die, they called for help from 18 different alien species. Dr. Green told the crew. All of them got the message. All of them understood it. None of them came to help. "Why not?" asked Dr. Bell. "Some said they had rules against getting involved with other species. Some said it was too far away or would cost too much. Some just said it wasn't their problem." Dr. Green's voice shook with anger. They left an entire species to die. And now, they'd left a child all alone. The crew worked even harder after hearing this. They pushed the engines to go faster. They took shorter rest breaks. Every hour saved might matter. On the 25th day of their journey, Liam called out from his station. "Captain, I can see it on our long-range scanners. We've reached the Vexteri star system." The crew gathered to look at the screen. Among several planets, they could see one that was covered in swirling storm clouds. The once beautiful home of the Vexteri was now a world in its final days. Somewhere on that dying planet, Accelera was waiting. The horizon moved into orbit around the dying planet. From space, they could see why the Vexteri had to leave. Huge storms covered most of the surface. The ground shook with earthquakes. Rivers of hot lava flowed from many volcanoes. "Our scanners are picking up Accelera's signal," Liam said. "It's coming from under that mountain range to the north." Captain Harper studied the map on the screen. "Can we land near there?" Engineer Cooper shook her head. "Not safely. The ground is too unstable. The closest safe landing spot is here, about 10 miles from Accelera's location. Then we'll have to walk the rest of the way," Captain Harper decided. "I'll lead the landing team. Dr. Collins, Officer Martinez, Engineer Cooper, you're with me." The 4 crew members put on their special environment suits. These suits would protect them from the planet's toxic air and extreme heat. Each suit had 2 hours of air, meaning they had to work fast. The landing shuttle shook as it flew through the violent storms. Officer Martinez, who was piloting, fought to keep control. "Hang on," he shouted as they dropped quickly toward the ground. The shuttle landed with a hard bump. Outside the windows, they could see a landscape that looked like a nightmare. The sky was dark red. Lightning flashed constantly. The ground was cracked and broken. "Remember, stay together," Captain Harper said as they stepped out of the shuttle. "Our suits can handle the environment, but not for long." The team began their journey toward the mountain where Accelera was hiding. They had to move carefully over the broken ground. Twice they had to change direction when the path ahead was blocked by new lava flows. The entrance to the facility should be just ahead, Dr. Collins said, checking the map on his wrist computer. But when they reached the spot, they found only a pile of rocks where the entrance should have been. A recent earthquake had caused a landslide, blocking the way in. "Now what do we do?" Engineer Cooper asked, looking at the wall of fallen rocks. Officer Martinez studied his scanner. "There might be another way in. I'm picking up a network of tunnels under our feet, some kind of maintenance system for the facility. It took 20 minutes of searching before they found a small metal door half buried in the ground. Engineer Cooper used her tools to force it open, revealing a dark tunnel leading down. "We're running out of time," Captain Harper said, checking the air levels in their suits. "Let's move." The tunnels were narrow and dark. The only light came from the lamps on their helmets. Sometimes they had to crawl on hands and knees to get through tight spots. The whole time, they could feel the ground shaking beneath them as more earthquakes hit the planet. After nearly an hour of moving through the tunnels, they reached a large underground room. It was filled with what looked like alien computers and strange machines. "This must have been some kind of control center," Dr. Collins said, looking around in wonder. Engineer Cooper went to one of the machines that still had some power. She pressed some buttons, and a large screen lit up. It showed images of beautiful cities and green lands, the planet as it once was. Then the images changed to show hundreds of spaceships leaving the planet, the final evacuation of the Vexteri people. "Look at this," Officer Martinez called from another part of the room. He had found a different screen showing a list of messages. Each message showed an alien face, very different from human faces. Each message ended with what looked like a negative response. "These must be the 18 species that refused to help," Dr. Collins said quietly. Captain Harper checked his suit's air meter. "We have less than 30 minutes of air left. We need to find Cellera now." A new, stronger earthquake shook the room. Pieces of the ceiling began to fall around them. "This way," Engineer Cooper shouted, pointing to a doorway on the far side of the room. According to Cellera's signal, the child should be through there. The team rushed through the doorway just as more of the ceiling crashed down behind them. They found themselves in a long hallway with several doors. Most of the doors were damaged or blocked, but one at the end of the hall had a soft blue light coming from under it. "That must be it," Captain Harper said, moving quickly toward the glowing door. The door didn't open when they approached. Engineer Cooper examined the control panel beside it. "The power is almost gone," she said. "I'll try to redirect what's left to open this door." While Cooper worked, another earthquake shook the facility. This one was stronger than before. Water began to leak from pipes in the ceiling. "Hurry," Officer Martinez urged. This whole place could flood or collapse any minute. After what seemed like forever, the door finally made a clicking sound and slid open a few inches. Officer Martinez and Captain Harper pushed their fingers into the gap and forced the door open wider. Inside was a small room with blinking machines along the walls. In the center was a clear tube filled with a glowing blue liquid. Floating in the liquid was Cellera. The alien child was smaller than they expected, about the size of a 5-year-old human. It had 6 thin limbs, skin that shimmered like a pearl, and large eyes that were currently closed. A mask covered what must have been its mouth, providing it with air. Dr. Collins quickly went to the nearest machine and studied the displays. "This is a stasis pod," he explained. "It's keeping Cellera alive, but it's almost out of power, maybe less than an hour left." "Can we move the pod?" Captain Harper asked. Dr. Collins shook his head. "No, it's connected to these machines. We'll have to take Cellera out of the pod." "Is that safe?" Officer Martinez asked. "I don't know," Dr. Collins admitted. "But staying here isn't safe either." Engineer Cooper checked the readings on another machine. According to this, the air in this room is similar to what's in the pod. If we open our suits just long enough to get Cellera inside with one of us, it might work. Captain Harper nodded. "I'll do it." "No," Officer Martinez said. "My suit is the largest. There will be more room for Cellera. And I've had rescue training." After a brief argument, Captain Harper agreed. They worked together to prepare for the dangerous transfer. Dr. Collins studied the pod controls to figure out how to open it. Engineer Cooper adjusted Martinez's suit to make room for their small passenger. "Ready?" Dr. Collins asked, his hand on the pod control. Officer Martinez stood close to the pod, his suit partially open. Ready. Dr. Collins pressed the button. The blue liquid drained from the pod, and the clear tube slid open. Zelra's eyes fluttered open, showing colors that shifted from blue to purple. The alien child looked at the strange beings in suits and made a high-pitched sound of fear. "It's Oak," Dr. Collins said softly, even though he knew Zelra couldn't understand his words. He showed Zelra the mathematical sequence they had used in their messages. Zelra stopped making the frightened noise. Its colors changed slightly. Officer Martinez stepped forward and gently picked up the alien child. Zelra was light, weighing no more than 20 pounds. The officer quickly placed Zelra inside his suit and sealed it up. "Are you both Oak?" Captain Harper asked. Officer Martinez nodded, looking down at the small being now curled against his chest. "I think so. The little one seems calm now." Just then, the strongest earthquake yet shook the room. A large crack opened in one wall, and water began pouring in rapidly. "Time to go," Captain Harper shouted. As they turned to leave, Zelra made a series of clicks and whistles while pointing at a small device on one of the machines. "I think it wants us to take that," Dr. Collins said, grabbing the device and putting it in his pocket. With water rising quickly around their legs, the team ran back toward the hallway, carrying with them the last child of the Vexteri. The journey back to the shuttle was much harder than the journey in. Water filled the tunnels, forcing the team to find new paths. Officer Martinez moved carefully, trying not to frighten the small alien inside his suit. Zelra clung to him, 6 thin limbs wrapped around his chest. "Our suit air is getting low," Engineer Cooper warned as they climbed through a narrow passage. Less than 15 minutes left. A sudden crash blocked the path ahead with fallen rocks. Captain Harper looked at his map. "We need another way out." Zelra made a series of clicking sounds and pointed to the left. The alien seemed to understand they were trying to escape. "Should we trust it?" Engineer Cooper asked. "Do we have a choice?" Dr. Collins replied. They followed Zelra's directions, turning left into a tunnel they hadn't noticed before. The new path led them upward, away from the rising water. After 10 tense minutes of climbing, they saw light ahead. They had found a way to the surface. But just as they approached the exit, the largest earthquake yet shook the tunnel. Rocks began to fall from the ceiling. Officer Martinez saw a large boulder about to hit Captain Harper. Without thinking, he pushed the captain out of the way. The boulder missed Harper, but hit Martinez on the shoulder instead. He fell to one knee, groaning in pain. "Frank." Captain Harper helped Martinez back to his feet. "Are you hurt?" Officer Martinez gritted his teeth. "I'll be fine. We need to keep moving." They made it outside just as their air supplies reached critical levels. The planet's surface looked even worse than before. More volcanoes had erupted. The air was thick with ash and poison gas. "The shuttle is half a mile that way," Engineer Cooper pointed. They ran as fast as they could through the terrible landscape. Officer Martinez fell behind, slowed by his injury and the extra weight of Zelra. Captain Harper stayed with him while the others ran ahead to prepare the shuttle. When they finally reached the shuttle, their suit alarms were beeping loudly, warning that they had almost no air left. They climbed aboard quickly and sealed the door. "Everyone remove your helmets. The shuttle air is clean," Engineer Cooper said as she started the engines. One by one, they took off their helmets, except for Officer Martinez. He waited until Dr. Collins came to help him. Together, they carefully opened his suit to let Zelra out. The alien child blinked large color-changing eyes at them. It seemed unsure what to do. After a moment, Zelra touched Officer Martinez's face with a delicate 6-fingered hand, making a soft humming sound. "I think it's saying thank you," Dr. Collins said softly. Engineer Cooper spoke from the pilot's seat. "Strap in, everyone. This takeoff will be rough." The shuttle shook violently as it flew through the storms. Zelra seemed frightened by the movement and noise. Dr. Collins tried to calm the alien child by showing it pictures of the horizon on his tablet. Zelra's colors shifted from fearful purple to a more calm blue-green. When they finally broke through the planet's atmosphere and reached space, everyone let out a breath of relief. Captain Harper used the radio to call the horizon. "This is Captain Harper. Mission successful. We have Accelera. Requesting immediate pickup. Officer Martinez needs medical attention." The voice of Dr. Bell answered from the horizon. "We see you, Captain. Docking bay is ready. Medical team standing by." As they approached the horizon, Dr. Collins examined the small device Accelera had wanted them to take from the facility. It was some kind of data storage unit, similar to a computer drive. "What do you think is on it?" Captain Harper asked. "I'm not sure," Dr. Collins replied. "But it must be important if Accelera wanted us to save it." Zelra watched them discuss the device. The alien child then looked out the window at the dying planet below, the only home it had ever known. A single tear-like droplet fell from one large eye. Officer Martinez, despite his pain, gently placed his hand on Accelera's shoulder. No words were needed to express what they all felt. They had saved one life, but an entire world was gone forever. 5 years passed since the horizon brought Accelera to Earth. The first few months had been difficult. Scientists and doctors worked hard to create food that Accelera could eat. They had to make a special room with air that matched Accelera's home planet. And most challenging of all, they had to learn how to talk with each other. Dr. Green led the communication team. They started with simple math and pictures, just like in Accelera's first message. Slowly, they built a way to translate between human languages and Accelera's clicks, whistles, and color changes. The small device from the facility turned out to be very important. It contained the history and knowledge of the Vexteri people. It had records of their science, art, and culture. Most importantly, it held educational programs meant to teach young Vexteri about their world. "It's like a library and school all in one," Dr. Green explained to reporters. Zelra's parents must have saved it, hoping whoever found their child would help preserve their knowledge. Zelra grew quickly once on Earth. The alien child was now the size of a human teenager. Zelra learned to speak several human languages and taught humans about Vexteri technology. Some of this knowledge helped humans build better spaceships and cleaner energy sources. Officer Martinez, now healed from his injury, visited Zelra often. They had formed a special bond during the rescue. Sometimes they would sit together for hours, not talking, just keeping each other company. One day, an emergency message came to Earth's Space Command. A human colony on a planet called New Hope was in danger. Their sun was sending out dangerous solar flares that would soon make the planet unlivable. The colony had 5,000 people, but not enough ships to evacuate everyone in time. Commander Holloway, now Admiral Holloway, called an emergency meeting. "We need to send all available ships to New Hope," she told the group. "But even with every ship we have, we can only evacuate half the colonists before the worst flares hit." The room fell quiet as people tried to think of solutions. Then Zelra entered, having been invited by Admiral Holloway. "I may be able to help," Zelra said in a musical voice. "I have sent messages to several space-traveling species who once ignored my people's call for help. I told them about how humans saved me when no one else would." Admiral Holloway looked surprised. "Have any responded?" "Yes." Zelra's skin rippled with blue colors of happiness. 7 different species have answered. They are sending ships to help the human colony. They should arrive at New Hope within 2 days. True to Zelra's word, ships from 7 alien species arrived at New Hope. Working together with human ships, they evacuated all 5,000 colonists before the solar flares made the planet dangerous. The captain of one alien ship explained to Admiral Holloway, "We were wrong to ignore calls for help in the past. Humans taught us that helping others, even those different from ourselves, is the mark of a truly advanced civilization." 1 year later, a special statue was placed in front of Space Command Headquarters. It showed Officer Martinez carrying Celery to safety. Below it were words in both human language and Vextari symbols. When faced with the choice between looking away or helping, humanity chose kindness. Celery stood next to Admiral Holloway at the statue's unveiling ceremony. Now a respected teacher and ambassador, Celery had helped form a new alliance between humans and the 7 alien species. "My people are gone," Celery said to the crowd, "but their knowledge and spirit live on. And I have found a new family among the stars." Celery's skin glowed with warm colors of love and gratitude. Admiral Holloway smiled at the alien who had once been a frightened child sending desperate messages into space. "In helping you," she said, "we discovered the best in ourselves." As they looked up at the night sky together, both knew that humanity's compassion had changed the course of history among the stars.